Welcome to the four parks of Universal Orlando Resort, featuring the new Universal Epic Universe. With spectacular hotels, we offer a week of vacation excitement. Visit universalorlando.com.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. Well, if you are a Met fan, this particular morrow is perhaps not as good as a typical morning might be, because the Mets are now one game away from elimination in the National League Championship Series. And this could be the last day that I speak to you. I hope it's not the case, but it could be the last day that I speak to you with the Mets not yet eliminated from the playoffs. And I know that it's rough. It's sad. It's upsetting if you're a Met fan. But I do have to say, if you would have told any of us 5 months ago that this is where this Met team was going to be, we would have signed on to that in a heartbeat. Even if we're eliminated in tonight's game, I don't think you can be disappointed as a Met fan. I think we, as fans, can all applaud the effort that we saw from this team. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm writing their epitaph just yet. Anything can happen. We saw that with Arizona and Philadelphia last year. I really think it's important to appreciate how far the Mets have come and how well they've done in spite of whatever happens next. Fingers crossed, hoping for the best, but even if the worst comes, it's not as bad as it could have been. All right, it's Friday. You know what that means. We've got Ask Frank Anything. If you have a question on any subject, please be so good as to call me at 646-720-0635. That's 1-646-720-0635. Make the questions good, make them interesting, make them creative, make them different, and you might just get a prize. Lastly, on Sunday, I am going to be emceeing the National Psoriasis Foundation walk, and I'm trying to raise some money. Want to thank both Gristides and the WABC Foundation for always being so generous in supporting this event, especially John and Margot Katsimatidis, who are always great in terms of being generous. But I would love if you would consider making a contribution as well. I have a link to do so on my Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/Morano fan. Right now, I have psoriasis. I've had it since my 20s. And I am hoping that this is a disease that can be cured within our lifetime. And the National Psoriasis Foundation really does just such great work in terms of both research and in terms of advocacy. So if you want to help us out, you can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Morano fan. All right, let me hear your questions.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Good morrow, everyone. This is The Other Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. I'm Frank Morano. In a twist of political irony, Mayor Eric Adams might be quietly hoping for a Donald Trump victory in the upcoming 2024 presidential election. Sources close to the Adams campaign told the New York Post that Trump could be his unlikely savior in beating a federal corruption case brought by the Department of Justice. The theory goes that if Trump wins, he would replace Attorney General Merrick Garland with someone more sympathetic to Adams' legal troubles, viewing them as politically motivated. It's hard to ignore the fact that Adams' defense team includes lawyers who've represented Trump-linked figures like Steve Bannon. One of his attorneys, John Bash, was even handpicked by Trump for a U.S. attorney role back in 2017. But why would a Democratic mayor be betting on a Republican former president? Both Trump and Adams have claimed they're victims of politically motivated prosecutions. Adams hinted that his indictment came after he criticized the Biden administration's handling of the migrant crisis, while Trump has long argued that his own legal issues stem from political revenge. And Trump has been vocal in his odd brand of support for Adams, as he pointed out at the Al Smith dinner just last night.
Mayor Adams, good luck with everything. They went after you. They went after you, Mayor. Yeah, boy, I do that. 9.5 months ago, I said, he just said something about the administration. He's going to be indicted any moment. And guess what happened? But you're going to win. I think you're going to win. I know you're going to win. So good luck.
Trump's comments make it clear that while they may not be natural allies, there's a common enemy: the current administration and its Justice Department. With Adams endorsing Kamala Harris for president, you'd think he'd distance himself from Trump, but Adams has been coy, saying he welcomes support from every American. While Trump winning and appointing a new attorney general might seem like a long shot, it's a scenario Adams' team is considering. The Southern District of New York, known for its autonomy and fierce independence, wouldn't give up the case easily, even if a Trump administration pushed for it. But stranger things have happened in politics, and Adams may see a Trump victory as his best shot at avoiding a prison sentence. In the end, it's a risky gamble, and one can only imagine what kind of strange political bedfellows this would create. A Democratic mayor hoping for the success of a Republican president to save his own skin. But in today's political climate, nothing is impossible.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Build professional skills this semester with Adobe Creative Cloud and create standout work both in and out of the classroom. Save big on professional creativity tools. Students get 65% off Adobe Creative Cloud, including Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, Acrobat Pro, and 20+ creative apps. No matter what project you're working on, Adobe Creative Cloud apps can help you take it to the next level. Visit adobe.com/student to learn more.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
Here is something you might not expect to hear me say. New York City Council Speaker Adrian Adams' plan to introduce a bill allowing the City Council to form its own Charter Revision Commission is a great idea. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't always agree with Speaker Adams or the City Council. In fact, I think they're often far too focused on expanding their own power, especially in their ongoing struggle with Mayor Eric Adams. But this idea, this could actually bring some much-needed improvement to how our city government functions. The city charter, for those unfamiliar, is essentially New York City's constitution. It lays the groundwork for how the entire city government operates. And let's face it, the charter is in dire need of an update. The last time it went through a major overhaul was in 1989, before the internet became part of daily life, before the city ballooned in population, and certainly before many of today's governance challenges came into play. Now, full disclosure, I hold the record for testifying at more Charter Revision Commission hearings than any New Yorker. I go back 22 years. So I've seen firsthand how important this process is. I've long advocated that the Charter Revision process should be perpetual, not just something that happens when politicians feel like appointing a commission. Our city government needs constant attention and reform to meet the demands of the time. That's why this new idea has some real potential. Speaker Adams' proposal could pave the way for a truly independent commission to address issues of transparency, governance, and yes, even the balance of power between the city council and the mayor. But here's my hope. Let's make sure this commission isn't just a power grab by the city council. Instead, let's ensure it's truly representative of New Yorkers, with appointees from the borough presidents, the public advocate, and the mayor, so it can act independently, not as a political tool. The last thing we need is a city council-led commission that's simply about grabbing more power from the mayor. We need a thoughtful, deliberate commission that looks out for the people of New York City, not just the interests of our politicians. If they can deliver on that, I'm all in. The reality is, city government has become bloated, inefficient, and overly complex. We're stuck with policies that don't always serve New Yorkers well, and we need a smart, comprehensive approach to reforming the system. This charter revision could be just the opportunity we need to get it right, so long as it's done with the transparency and independence that I'm looking for. Let's see where it goes. So yes, I'm cautiously optimistic, and while this battle between the council and the mayor rages on, maybe, just maybe, this time, the people of New York City will come out as the real winners. Let's hope that this commission, if it comes to fruition, stays focused on what really matters, improving how our city is governed, not on political games.
Beam me up!
To be continued.
Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
The Other Side of Midnight.
77 WABC.
Local Spotlight.
It's not every day you see two people as accomplished as Ray Kelly and Betsy McCoy teaming up to launch an advocacy group, but I couldn't be more thrilled that they have. Their new initiative, Save Our City, is aimed at addressing some of the most pressing challenges New Yorkers face today. And let me tell you, they are exactly the right people for the job. Ray Kelly, the longest-serving NYPD commissioner in New York City's history, and Betsy McCoy, a former lieutenant governor and staunch advocate for public safety and good governance, have been at the forefront of New York politics and public service for decades. They don't need to be doing this at this stage in their lives. They've already given so much to the city, but they're stepping up again because they care, and that should tell you everything you need to know about how serious this is. This Save Our City group isn't just about politics, it's about common sense. Crime is up. Stores are closing. People are leaving the city in droves, and the streets are far from safe. Kelly and McCoy know this, and their advocacy group is calling for an end to disastrous policies like bail reform and sanctuary city laws that have hamstrung law enforcement and allowed chaos to fester. New Yorkers are tired of living in fear, whether it's fear of crime on the streets, in the subways, or even in their own neighborhoods. Betsy McCoy summed it up perfectly in the New York Post. New Yorkers don't want ideology. They want a safe ride home on the subway, good schools, and order instead of chaos. And she's right. New Yorkers are smart. They see the problems, and they want real solutions, not political pandering. That's why the Save Our City group is so important. It's a voice of reason at a time when common sense seems to be in short supply. Ray Kelly knows what it takes to keep this city safe. He did it for years as commissioner through some of the most turbulent times. And Betsy McCoy, she's been fighting for policies that make sense for decades. Together, they're leading this effort not because they're seeking power or personal gain. They've already well established in all their careers. They're doing this because they love the city and want to see it thrive again. The group's agenda is straightforward: bring back bail requirements, deter crime, restore civil order, and protect city services without raising taxes. They also want to stop the exodus of businesses and taxpayers and allow local law enforcement to work with federal immigration authorities, policies that I think most New Yorkers would consider just plain common sense. But beyond the policy details, what's most striking about this group is their call to mobilize New Yorkers to take back their city. Voter turnout in the last city council and mayoral elections was dismal, with fewer than 13% of registered voters showing up. Save Our City is about reminding New Yorkers that they can make a difference, that they don't have to sit back and watch as the city deteriorates. It's a vehicle for action, and I think that's exactly what we need.
Beam me up!
To be continued.